From the Nürburgring, sanctioned by the Absolute Beginners League, this is the Global SimRacing Channel's Round 4 coverage of the Formula Neagle Season 22 Championship. And with the first half of the schedule in the book, each page of the ledger is headed by the same name, Lee Anderson. The defending champion has proved unbeatable so far, but despite winning everywhere, Interlagos, Watkins Glen, Scuba, Anderson has far from secured his second title. By posting a second and a pair of thirds, David Burns remains close enough in the points that if the green hell's foliage reaches out to drag Anderson into a leafy perdition, Burns is poised to inherit the point lead. Rookies Rhys Saunders and Manuel Lucetta have shown speed, but mistakes have prevented them from being up front at race's end. Have the rookies paid their dues? Can Burns stop Anderson's win streak at 3? Or will Anderson be able to threaten 8-time champ Errol Numm's record race win streak of 6? Find out now as all the simulated Skippy action streams your way from the Nürburgring's Nordschleife, live as it happens right here on the Global Sim Racing Channel. Peace, good health, and welcome to another GSRC broadcast. We have the press box to bring you our Word's Eye view. It is DJ Clark alongside yours truly, Bill Soups on. Sean Ambrose has director duties with cameras provided by Dougie Beer. So Lee Anderson's point lead, is it really in jeopardy? Well, if history means anything, the answer is yes. The last time Formula Neagle attacked the Nordschleife, David Burns got the win. Anderson was there and finished 6th. If any place can ruin a driver's championship hopes, it is this place. So let's take a closer look at what all the ABLers will be up against.
Welcome to the Nürburgring Nordschleife. Most modern high-end series might use the GP circuit nowadays, but it will certainly never hold the respect and awe that the Northern Loop commands. Though it can be and is usually used in conjunction with the Grand Prix circuit for competitions in real life, here on iRacing, drivers can harken back to a time gone by and just run the 13-mile behemoth this place is known for. Nicknamed the Green Hell by 3-time F1 world champion Sir Jackie Stewart, it is often regarded as the greatest test of a driver anywhere on the planet. Just looking at the stats will tell you why. More than 150 turns and close to 1,000 feet in elevation will pass you by in a single lap. Simply memorizing the course is half the battle for most drivers, let alone being fast. It goes without saying that this place is dangerous. Many fast corners lack runoff. There's blind apexes everywhere, and in a couple cases, even modern cars will get airborne. The list of famous turns is pretty lengthy, but some of the more notorious are places such as Flugplatz, Miss Hit Miss, Bravery Corner, and of course, the ever-iconic Carousel. It's not just the places where you've got to move the wheel that get attention too. The Dottinger Hoa stretches for more than 1.5 miles in length. While you would think this circuit would mainly be limited to the track days most gearheads flock to for a chance to lap the ring, it still sees quite a bit of wheel-to-wheel combat. The 24 Hours of the Nürburgring, the VLN Series, and the World Touring Car Championship all still take the track to this day. Many race fans consider this the mecca of road racing, and any driver who is able to push the limits here often quickly garners their respect.
A lap around, a long lap around the Green Hell. DJ, there's a lot of track to talk about. What are your thoughts?
Well, Sue, these Formula cars from Skip Barber, they take to this track like a fish takes to water. This is exactly what you like to see around here. They slip, they slide. It's super, super hard to be able to drive the perfect lap, the perfect 8-minute lap around here. Passing opportunities, it's going to be at a relative premium, believe it or not, because there's not all that many heavy braking zones besides the hundreds of corners that we come against. So really for these guys and trying to move up once the field has been set, I really think you're going to be looking at damage limitation. You're going to be looking at trying not to make mistakes and forcing the guy in front of you to make a mistake or two. That's going to be your best way by here at the Nürburgring.
For the sake of all the viewers out there, I am going to avoid all the German pronunciations of these corners. I'll be giving you the English translation. Trust me, that's good for everybody on this one. One thing to watch out as we watch this track, that long straightaway at the very back there, Donington High is what it is in English there. You want to save. If you make a pass, you can make it too early. We've seen passes in the past where they happen back, and they can happen even 3 times down that straight. So that'll be fun to watch. Let's go ahead and talk about the passing that might be going on in the points as we bring those up right now. We talked about it up front. There's Lee Anderson. He's won them all. But look at the interval there. Only 16 points back to Burns. Burns has done enough to stay close. And I talked about it in the opening with a rules package that has no drop insurance and a very short season. If Anderson were to make a mistake, and certainly this is a place where that could happen, his points lead would go away quickly, and Burns has poised himself in perfect spot there to steal the lead away. Yush Young has been quick all season long, but he's still 42 back. That'll be a tall order to get up there. Reese Saunders, now there's a guy to watch. He could actually get the win really quick in the first race, made a strategy mistake. Really quick in the third race, made a technical mistake on the track. Watch for him to be able to race up front and challenge for the checkered flag today. And there's Vincent Bream. Look at David Burns and Vincent Bream. Together, they are 2 stupid dogs. Those guys sit 1 and 2 in most races entered, most miles raced, most laps raced for those guys. They are both 1 and 2. They are veterans for sure. Let's go ahead and look at the F2 championships. DJ?
Thanks, Soup. And this is, as we've said before, drivers for an I rating under 2,300. Series organizer Wojciech Podacek, they're currently leading the standings with those 43 points, but Andre Solander hot on his heels. Frederick Neptune working his way up the standings into 3rd right now, just 16 points back. And right on his heels, Luis Rodriguez Luan, only 3 points back of Neptune, and Giros just a point back. So much, much tighter there across that whole F2 field.
We'll see if we can call up one more. If I'm doing these a little bit out of order, we'll look at the team championships now. We talked about 2 stupid dogs. That is Bream and Burns. They are clearly crushing this one. You can see the rest of those teams filling out the order. Really, there's no competition as Burns and Breams look set to win another championship. All right, we are always picking up new viewers. Let's talk about the race details. GK, what's going on?
Well, we're going to be working the 4th round of our 22nd season here in Formula Neagle. We are driving those Skip Barber Formula 2000 cars, as we mentioned before. It is a 40-minute race rather around here, so working on time rather than laps. It is an open setup, 51% fuel, so they will have to come into the pits at some point. And unlike a lot of the other series you see here on GSRC, we have a standing start.
Standing starts are always fun. Qualifying going on here. Now, there is a pit stop. We're not going to have a lot of laps, so the pit window is going to be very small. Usually these things are about 6 to 7 laps. They'll pit, well, obviously somewhere in the middle, so you can't really stretch it too much. We'll keep an eye on that. For the most time, most everybody comes in at the same time. Anderson out in front in qualifying with David Burns right behind him. And no surprise, Reese Saunders, we thought he'd be quick, sitting in 3rd.
Yeah, really good run there from Saunders. Obviously, kind of pulling for him to have a good run after those 2 mistakes we've seen him have at Tsukuba and Interlagos. But these times, obviously looking like the 8-minute mark is going to be what is going to be best for these guys and the best time to run.
Round number 4. We're on the back half of the season. Lee Anderson, your leader in the points, but anything could happen. Looking for other drivers that are maybe making their first time appearance here. A lot of familiar names here, not seeing a lot of new names out there. Rather small field here today, only 20, what are we looking at, 27 drivers, rather small by ABL standards.
Well, you know, Soup, I don't really blame them. They don't call this place the Green Hell for nothing. This is one of the most challenging laps you will do absolutely anywhere. As we ride on board with David Burns, you can just see how tricky it is in these low downforce cars. You've got to be riding that trail brake absolutely perfect around a lot of these corners, and some of them you just got to throw it in and pray.
Does take a lot of time, to be honest with you. I still couldn't race this one by memory. I don't have the corners down. It takes a lot of practice to have it. These guys have been around for a long time. They know the track. Anderson, Burns, Saunders, they know where they're going.
They do, and there you, as you were mentioning earlier, that sort of leapfrog drafting that we've seen a couple of times here in Formula Nagel down that long straightaway as we see Burns work his way down it there. So that is going to be probably one of the better opportunities to see a pass get made here today.
So while we probably won't see drivers running along as far as how long they will run a stint, that doesn't necessarily mean that there isn't fuel strategy being done, because even if you can be out there in the draft saving fuel, it means you'll take less fuel when you do have to come in for a stop.
Very much so. And, you know, I think you're really going to see some guys trying to find some good ways to save. Thankfully, with an 8-minute lap, you have a lot of corners that you can sort of lift and coast your way into. And so that'll definitely be something to watch. And also, with going down that long straight, it almost functions like you're driving on an oval there for a minute. So don't be surprised if we see somebody on the first or second lap, you know, really just sticking behind somebody, tucking up behind them in the draft, staying off the loud pedal, and trying to use the draft to keep them up to speed and save some fuel.
Want to talk a little bit more about points. There are bonus points, and you get 3 bonus points if you are in the top 3 in qualifying. So it's very important for David, Burns, and Anderson to be in that top 3, and they both are right now, as they'll pick up 3 points each. Eric Lukal down in 4th place, looking to get up there and to move up a little bit in the F2 championship.
Yeah, it's a good run there from Lukal, and you know, we've got a lot of guys that are down in the order, haven't set a time yet. They're only the top 16 putting stuff in. Also a good run there from Luis Rodriguez Luan, able to work his way up. So that F2 may shake out to something very interesting here. We could see a little bit of movement here, as you see now Andre Solander working his way down that long straightaway.
I might have overestimated the amount of laps we'll get in here. I think I was saying 6 laps. With an 8-minute lap, doubt if we'll get that many. We're looking at maybe 4 to 5, I would think would be where we are. There is Andre Solander coming at you. Love that Dougie Bird camera shot. He's going to go right by us as we do a little tennis neck there. Watch him ride.
Coming under that world-famous bridge that everybody talks about as he works his way down the straight. And I think that estimate's going to be about right. Soup will obviously be able to tell you exactly what it breaks down to when it gets time to go. But Solander, one of the few cars on track right now, everybody looking in. Not a whole lot of time left here in qualifying, only about 1.5 minutes. So you kind of got to be near the end of the lap, because if you're caught out halfway, you're not getting that lap done.
If you're a fan of the Formula Eagle broadcast, you know that qualifying is usually a short session. Usually, I think it runs nearly like 10 minutes. They have opened it up considerably, as I believe they even started qualifying before we even went live. Since these laps are so long with 8 minutes, they wanted to give everybody a fair shot at it. So they've been qualifying for a while.
Yeah, good call there from Formula Nagel. I think trying to run, even to do a 9 or 10 minute quality session would be a little bit difficult, but we're cranking down here. 45 seconds to go. Anderson, Burns, Saunders, your top 3, as you mentioned. That coming really is no surprise to the watchers of Formula Nagel, as they have been the fastest cars a week in and week out.
You talk about qualifying. One of the hardest things about qualifying here is you have to run a perfect lap, which means you have to be perfect for 8 minutes. So it is a tough order indeed. You want to stay clean. Talk about staying clean. Lee Anderson leads all the points. He only has 3 off tracks all season long. It's rare to see a driver who is fast, DJ, and also doesn't have a lot of off tracks to go with it.
It very much is, and that 3 incident level, that 3 off track for him is just truly remarkable as we pass there over the simulated castle in the middle of this track. Qualifying now over as we get ready to take the grid to launch these cars off here at the Nürburgring.
Let's go to the grid right now. As I think, do we want to do that, Director? Is it time to go to the grid? I'll get the official call on this. It looks like maybe qualifying might be going on for a little while longer, I think, here. It's like, or maybe they're going to let the drivers, or giving them a few extra laps here to extra seconds to complete their lap. Still looking at it, looks like we still have some more time on the qualifying session. So we'll stay with you a bit here. They may advance the session. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of the liveries out there. We looking at there, that's a nice looking red and white car. Look at them. Look at them. Look at him work that line right there. That's car number 42. I believe that is Eric Lukl. Boy, you can really see these skippies. They're fun to watch. They put on a good show, don't they?
Oh, they most certainly do. And around here, like I said, they're just so tricky to get right. You've got to be very, very careful on the power. You've got to do absolutely everything right. And you've got to do absolutely everything right for 8 minutes. You can see how easy it is to get sideways there as Luco goes sideways again. Just so difficult to be able to get it. You know, this track was made back in the day when they weren't thinking about high downforce cars. So much of this now is high speed, second, third gear corners, not a whole lot of heavy braking.
We'll wait to see what's going on here. I would not be surprised if they advance the session here, as there is a schedule to keep, not only on the ABL broadcast, but here on GSRC, as we have lots of racing to bring you on this Sunday morning. Sometimes it's nice to just let the cars out there and you can get a picture of what it's like without the commentators getting in the way of what you're looking at. Continue to look at car number 42, Eric Lukl, working his way around. Lukl always a threat in the F2 championship.
He certainly is, Soup. As you see him there, you can see the nice shade coming through. Obviously, this being in the middle of the Eifel Mountains, so some great foliage from there up against the mountain. One of the things that makes this track so incredible is the scenery that you see as he goes by here, working his way through those Armco barriers on either side. Really no room for error. If you set a toe wrong, you get into a little bit of spin. It's not like there's a whole lot of gravel to catch you. So just one of the things that makes this track all the more exciting.
Eric did not make the top 5 graphic for F2. Of course, the F2 championship is for drivers under 2,300. Eric's current I rating, it's 20 under 2,300. He is 23.15. So I think when he started the season, he was probably eligible for the F2 championship. He might be trying to manage that I rating there to keep him qualified. That's the carousel he just went through.
Well, and this is Luis Rodrigo Luan, currently sitting, I believe, 3rd in that F2 championship. So him working his way through there, 4th in that championship. He's working his way through, trying to make everything happen here for him. You can see that rear end of the Skippy just wanting to step out at every opportunity he's got. Really good job here to keep it under control, and that's what you've got to be able to do around these corners.
Harry Potter fans will appreciate this part of the track as he works his way through Hedwig's Heights, up through Seesaw Man. That's the English translation of that one. Down into Ashbrook. Then this right-hander right here. This is Little Well. One would assume that somewhere near there was a little well.
Yeah, I don't know the history on those names, Soup, but I may have to go look them up after you're saying them to figure out if there is indeed a little well and who Hedwig was in the Nordschleife world.
That's the name of the owl in Harry Potter, right? Am I wrong on that? I could be wrong. I get a little confirmation from that. Didn't know that the owl was a race fan. This is through Plant Garden, which seems like the only type of garden you would have when you really want to think about it. I mean, what else? You wouldn't have like a sand garden. I guess you could have that one. Then coming up now, this is the little carousel they'll be coming up to, this left-hander here.
And the carousel, always really interesting to see how the cars do in here, just how they set up their dampers on both the little carousel and the big carousel. You can really see how the car will start to rebound through that corner. Oh, so lovely to watch through there. But if you're not careful, it's one of the compromises you have to make setup-wise in the course of this race is you can't have too soft springs or you will bottom out on that corner. I know it's happened to me a couple of times.
The right-hander that sets up the long straight is Gallo Hill. And now we can take a look at this paint scheme as he comes right at you. This is the one that has the donuts and the rainbows and the ponies and all sorts of wonderful stuff on that car. Louis Lujan.
It's a lovely explosion of color, and it's certainly one of those paint schemes you are never, ever going to be missing when you see it on track. He makes his way down that long, long straightaway as we look forward here to wrapping up qualifying, as it looks like Luan and Lucal are the last two on track to be counted. So we should be ready to wrap qualifying and get under green here very shortly.
You can see he is still full throttle. It is a long, long straight, especially for these skippies. Now, getting into the final corner, where he'll be looking to complete his lap. He currently sits 10th. Coming around one last corner here to get to the start-finish line. And when it's all said and done, he'll be in 10th.
Yeah, no improvement there from him. You could also see on the track there, those two little offshoots separated by cones. Those are actually the offshoots for the even longer extended version of the track where they go on and race onto the Grand Prix circuit for today.
Hearing a little news from race control talking about that there was an extra lap on qualifying there. They were not able to advance it, so that's why we're a touch behind schedule. Everyone talking on race control to keep the voice chat clear because there's a lot that race control will be dealing with. Final coaching from race control, and I believe we are ready to go here. Car number 74. Can we take a look at him? He's out on the track right now. It's been I believe Ricard Allard was a ABL member early on in GSRC's coverage. It's good to see him back here. He has yet to put in a qualifying time. He's working his way around. Here's the little carousel. Not sure if he's going to get this one in time. And this is an outlap, so he's certainly not going to get one here. Racing in the, if I can take a look at that, the sponsor, I can't really see what it was. I thought it might be there it is. It is a Bushfink car. That's what I thought it would be. If you're not familiar with the Bushfink team, they are everywhere on iRacing.
Certainly one of the sort of gold standard teams that you see in almost any league you come across is now Allard coming down that long straightaway. Believe me, when you're racing in these skippies or racing in any car, if it's a GT, anything like that, this straight feels like an eternity, but it is one of the most welcome breaks in the world. You actually get to take a breath. You get to sit there and go, okay, I don't have to turn the wheel for a while. This is great.
Another thing to watch for is you'll see from third position, a lot of times they will scoot through the middle, what some of the commentators like to call putting the toothpaste back in the jar. It'll be 3 wide with the driver going through the middle in the prize spot there. So we'll watch out for that. Qualifying just about done. We're going to get to the racing here real soon. 16 drivers were able to put in qualifying times. That's about half the field. Looks like, about 10 drivers were not able to put in a time.
Well, and obviously for the way that iRacing does do qualifying, if you happen to set a tire wrong, step over the line, get into the grass, get one of those dreaded off tracks, it invalidates your lap. So those 10 drivers not putting in a time, not because of lack of effort, but just making a mistake here or there out along this mega circuit. And so that's what's invalidating the lap and forcing them to start back in the field.
Great shot as we look over the top of the helmet there. You can see the driver leaning into the G-forces. I was watching a video on an old driver that the name escapes me right now, that would not fight the G-forces. When he would make a right-hand corner, he would actually let his body lean to the left, like right here. He would just let it lean that way. He said it was instead of fighting the G-forces, he went with it, so this was less stressful. That's interesting technique.
I don't think I've ever heard of anybody doing that before. So many times I hear of, you see Tony Kanaan doing the neck training, or Fernando Alonso cracking a walnut with his neck. So kind of an interesting theory to go against the grain there, Sue.
Jim McElreath, that's who it was. It's an old-time dirt tracker that would actually lean, not against the G-forces, but lean with it. All right, well, we've had an extended pre-race show, but we are definitely done now as the clock is ticking down. We're ready to get to action. Look at that beautiful shot as we fly over the German countryside. You can almost envision a line of Panzer tanks rolling out of that forest there. Okay, let's go to the grid now. See, you give the commentators too long to fill, you don't know what you're going to get. Lee Anderson on pole, David Burns flanking him. No surprise there. Rookie Reese Saunders, he's been fast all season. He sits in third. He's inside of Eric Lukl. Vincent Bream and John Torpy go fifth and sixth. Torpy, a bit of a surprise. Ryan Walker continues to show great season here as he's sitting up in second, inside of Ludwig Sauer. Christoph Crook in the ninth spot. And rounding out your top 10, Louis Lujan. DJ?
Matt Tempest is going to be starting off in P11, followed by Andres Solander. Alex Vocek here is going to be in 13th, followed by Kevin Mills. Mackenzie Mann in 15th, and Joseph Kivany in 16th. He is the last driver to post a time. Rickard Allard is going to be 17th, followed by Christopher Giras, 18th, Jay Beige in 19th, and Kai Alpstead in 20th.
Hidden Blackjack, it is fan favorite Edgar Sancinelli with Neil Smet right next to him. GSRC's own Sean Ambrose sits in the 23rd spot. We'll look forward to see what he can do here today. Rob Zinga sits in the double dozen position with the quarter century, and final driver going to Jason Guerrera. 25 drivers on the entry list. I know 24 of them will take to the grid. One of them signed in foolishly as a driver, although he is claiming that it was an iRacing bug. The frosted purple car of 337, Lee Anderson. If he make it 4 in a row, the all-time record for Formula Neagle is 6 in a row, held by 8-time champion Errol Num, the Roland Estonian. Anderson got 3 in a row last season. We'll see if he can better that in season number 22. You can hear those little Skippy engines start to harmonize. You know what to do. Gather up the chickens, take cover behind the cows. The horses are out of the barn. Heading down into the first left-hander. It is Lee Anderson. David Burns right behind him. They single file now. Saunders, Lukl, and Vincent Bream. They race in the same order that they qualify.
Everybody being very smart off of that start, not wanting to rock the boat. They know how long of a race this is going to feel, so nobody really wanting to do anything crazy. But these first three are probably going to look to start to pull away here, as they have done race after race.
You cannot win it on the first lap, but certainly you can have your race ruined. Everyone trying to be very careful. The whole entire field works through Great Oak. It looks like everybody is still clean.
Everybody nice and clean, as we've got a pass developing now. Back for P4, that is Eric Lukl moving his way up, saying thank you, I will take that, and he gets into Reese Saunders, and Reese Saunders into the wall.
Oh, the rookie. How quickly things have gone sour. Making the pass was Eric Lukl on the outside. We're going to bookmark. We'll come back and look. We're going to look at it right now. DJ, you saw it live.
Yeah, you can see there Neagle making a dive out to the outside of that corner as they move their way up here. It's really starting to make it work, and it looks like that Neagle just turns in a little bit. I don't know if there was contact there, if Saunders just misjudged that apex, but that is going to be day done for Reese Saunders. As here we ride on board with Saunders, we'll be able to tell for sure about that contact.
Yeah, they pay me to have an opinion, and it looks to me like Neagle didn't have him clear. Came across his nose.
Yeah, just a little bit of a clip there. Hopefully Neagle able to avoid any damage on that incident. He looks like he's relatively clear, only about 7/10 back of David Burns, who's hot on the heels of Lee Anderson. So he's able to keep on.
And while nobody hopes for anybody to have trouble, for Anderson and Burns, that's good news, because Saunders may be the only driver that we've seen, from what we've seen in the early events, that has a chance to run up with the guys up front.
Very much so, but Eric Neagle here looking like he's got something for David Burns. Burns falling back a little bit through those corners, and Neagle hot on his heels now.
Oh, I'm going to get in trouble whenever Soup starts to assume driver locations, but I believe Eric Neagle is from Germany. So maybe a little bit of home cooking here. Maybe enjoying a little strudel before the race and feeling good.
Well, anything to help you get ahead, and it's working out for Neagle here today as they work their way around this first lap. Neagle trying to find something. Anderson starting to pull out about a 1.1 second advantage there over Burns. Going to be interesting. Burns maybe doing a little bit of that fuel saving we talked about early, trying to spend a little less time in the pits and see if that's where he can get by Anderson.
Usually we stay on the leaders for the first lap, but with 8-minute laps, that's almost impossible to do. Let's drop back and talk about the driver in 4th position, car number 53. This is John Torpy. Got himself about an 8-car length lead over Ryan Walker. Walker has really upped his game for season 22, been very competitive, racing in the top 5 right now, trying to run down Torpy.
Yeah, Walker's really had a stellar season this year at this point, and now he's trying to line up Torpy, who you've mentioned also having a very good season for himself. So they're going to have to see what's doing. Right there behind him looks like a little bit of going on between Ludwig Sauer and Christopher Crook.
Let's go to car number 14. This is Ludwig Sauer side by side with Christopher Crook for the longest of time as they head down into Convent Valley. Oh, you can see the nuns standing and cheering as they still work side by side through there. Keep your habits on, sisters. They continue to be side by side. Finally, Crook gets the best of that one.
Holy moly, you just don't see that on other racetracks. One of the things that makes the Nürburgring just so incredible is the ability to do that all the way across. And now if you look at that, Sauer's trying to fight back on Crook. They're going to get really close as they work their way through the right-hander. Nothing happening, but Sauer's got a better exit. He's going to try to pull back alongside. No, he looks like he's going to pull back into the draft there a little bit as they work their way around the carousel for the first time.
Back there with butter and salt on his racing gloves in the popcorn position, that is Luis Lujan, who we watched earlier in qualifying in that multicolored car, watching the show. This is where the action is. Crook, Sauer, and Lujan. Let's stay here for a while.
Good, clean racing from everybody. I have to give major props there to Ludwig Sauer, just kind of recognizing he wasn't going to be able to make that move work, knowing how long of a race this is going to be, pulling back a little bit. Is there you see Allard, I think, getting a little bit wide, or excuse me, that's Luan getting a little bit wide, losing him a couple of tenths there, but Sauer just able to really start to press Christopher Crook and press both of them. Oh,
you know what? Crook spun, Sauer got loose. Crook took evasive action and got the worst of it. Sauer caught it and is still racing.
Oh, absolute heartbreak there for that. Oh my goodness, for Sauer. Was trying to avoid that accident. It looked like Crook got up a little bit on the curbs, got into a tank slapper, and able to keep going.
Crook got the car. He had a tank slapper in front of Sauer. Sauer had no clue as where he was going and ended up, Sauer put it in the wall. Crook saved it, lost 2 positions. Lujan now moves up into 6th. Allard, who we mentioned, is now into 7th, and Crook is right there. There's some great racing. We knew that was going to happen.
Nürburgring always bringing the thunder here, as now you watch as Allard trying to reel in Luis Rodrigo Luan. He's got a really good run here as they work their way down, poking out to the outside of that corner, maybe trying to find something. Now he's going to slot back into line, but just looking for any opportunity. But that's going to open up the door to him, to Christopher Crook now, maybe trying to get something on Allard.
I'm going to take you up front because the leaders have now made it to the long straightaway. Anderson in front of Burns with Eric Lukl. We talked what the DJ mentioned, how well Lukl was racing. He is right there. Let's see who wants to lead, who wants to burn some fuel. Here comes Burns. He looks like he's going to take the lead. Plenty of time for Lukl to get the lead if he wants. He sits back there in 3rd. Now he swings out. Burns pulls up in front of Anderson. Lukl with a run, going from 3rd to 1st. This isn't over yet. Here's Anderson now, tucks in behind Lukl. He gets a tow. Will he swing out and around? I think so. DJ, we told the fans that it was a long straight, and there you have it.
Very much so. Just playing a little game of after you, sir. No, after you, sir, as they all sort of work their way. And as everything is said and done, they work their way back to the twisty bits. That's going to be up a position for Lukl. Lee Anderson able to stay in 1st. David Burns dropping back to 3rd, but still about 30 minutes to go here in the session. So do not count this as final, as David Burns now hot on the heels of Eric Lukl, looking like he wants a little bit of revenge.
Okay, I'm going to drop you back now to 7th position, car number 74. This is Ricard Allard. He is under attack from Luis Lujan. They all kind of shuffled positions. They work down that long straight. Leading this one is Christopher Crook. Remember, this is the battle that also included it would be Ludovic Sauer who had the spin. Ludovic is still racing in 15th position.
Yeah, Sauer looked like he just took a little bit of wing damage on that, but able to keep going here. As now these guys start to separate out a little bit once they get to the twisty bits, but the pressure definitely is still on. You know, at the ring, if you can see somebody in your rearview mirrors, it means you are not impervious to getting past. So this very much a good battle shaping up. Just everybody trying to do what we talked about early in the race, pressure the guy in front of you into making a mistake. That's really going to be your best way by.
Don't mean to jump you around so much, but we do want to cover some of these battles. Let's go to car number 53 in 4th. This is John Torpy. We looked at this earlier. Ryan Walker was following him. Walker is just a half car length back now and beginning to have visions of making the pass. Let's see if he really wants to do it. It's funny because I think Ryan knows that even if he gets around John, he's not going to go anywhere. These guys, don't be surprised if they don't race like this, at least until it's time to make a pit stop.
Yeah, I think that's something you could certainly see, in great earlier angle there from our cameraman, Dougie Beard, able to show you could see Walker just popping out in that rear view mirror. That's exactly what you see as a driver, just those sort of shadows coming in behind you. Is now Walker looking like he's going to make a move. Not going to happen there. I think he may try to make a move in the next couple of corners. Nope, not going to happen there again, but just Walker doing exactly what he needs to do. Fill up Torpy's rearview mirrors and try to pressure him into a mistake.
Let's go to car 452 in 11th position. Oh my goodness, under attack from Christopher Garros is Kevin Mills. Garros is right on his gearbox. And now he tries to challenge alongside, cannot get it done. One mistake from Mills and Garros will be sitting in his lap.
Very much so, as you see a little bit of a rare mistake there from Garros, just riding over the curbs a hair too much. That'll cost him a little bit of time for wheel spin and that ride over. But really seeing one of the characteristics that we talked about of the Nürburgring. Yeah, there's 100-odd corners here, but it is so hard to pass because there are not all that many heavy braking zones. So it's really about trying to maximize corner exits and get a good draft as Garros tries to prove me wrong there, poking out to the inside and taking a look, but nothing happening.
Oh, there is so much action going on. Little battles all through the field. Large gaps between these guys. When we look back here at when we're watching this battle with Garros, they are 23 seconds behind the leaders.
Yeah, they are. These leaders just absolutely proving the class of the field and pulling away. But there is no dearth of action on track here. As you can see there in the back, that's Edgar Sancinelli thinking about maybe poking his head into this battle as well.
Great to see Edgar up there racing. A fan favorite for sure. Let's go back to check on our leaders, see what's going on here as they just work their way through mountain work. Now heading through Little Valley. It's still Anderson. Lukel about a half car length back. Getting right there. I think Lukel has visions of making a move. He's going to wait. Watching the whole thing is Burns. Lukel not in the championship hunt. Anderson and Burns are. DJ, Burns has got to finish in front of Anderson today if he has hopes of the championship. He can't keep bleeding points away each round.
No, he can't. Burns has really got to put the pressure down. And frankly, this may be one of his better chances. If he is able to stay within the draft of Anderson, and if Lukel's able to stay up here as well, he may be able to get that pass to work going down the straightaway. So don't be surprised on the last lap if we don't see a little bit of gamesmanship out of Burns, trying to, hold back a little bit, timing that pass right. He could also be testing that in the previous laps on that straight, just trying to figure out where the best time to get the power on is.
And honestly, we've seen this how many times before. Burns never in a hurry to lead right now. Just happy to sit back there and watch the action from him, save a little fuel. To drill down a little bit on what Burns did last time here, we talked about him getting the win last time they came to the Nordschleife back in season 20. He beat the likes of Errol Num, and I know DJ, you are new to the series, but you keep hearing me mention Errol Num. He was something else. He was. You hear about NASA in search for alien life. I don't think they needed to search any farther than previous seasons here on AVL. He was certainly unhuman. But Burns was able to beat Num and also was able to pass Anderson as well.
Well, I mean, you see a name pop up that many times on a stat sheet. I don't care how young or old you are. You see the name pop up that many times, you know they're good. So disappointed I never got the chance to see Aero drive in person, but I can sure understand his greatness as we see him here. All three of these guys working their way through. You saw a little bit of that sideways action that these skippies are sort of known for coming around high-speed corners. Ooh, looked like Anderson caught a little bit of dirt there. Uncharacteristic, little bit of an almost runoff there from that frosted purple machine.
We've been jumping you around. Let's go ahead and stay on these guys for a while here. It won't be long till they get to the straightaway, and then we'll see all the fun that happens there. They're heading their way. They'll be at the little carousel here pretty soon. We talked about Errol Num, and we talked about Bushfink. No surprise that those two had locked together. They were certainly meant for each other. Okay, here comes the little carousel coming up here. This left-hander. They'll be getting to it right now. Here it is. Whee! One more right-hander, and then we get to the straightaway, where anything can happen.
Exactly, and that may look like a very long gap there up ahead for Lukel, about half a tenth for him. But in reality, he'll be able to close that in the blink of an eye once they get full power on that straightaway. Burns as well. You're going to see here just how much they can suck up in behind one another, as great overhead camera shot here to really see just this closing speed that draft can offer.
And what they're doing right now is getting a little feel for when they want to make the pass. Again, this is probably not when you're going to see a pass made on the last lap. This is actually too early because it let Anderson fight back. This is almost a replay of what we saw before, where Burns was in third. Burns ends up in the lead. Then Lukel is going to probably get behind Burns and see if he pulls out. Running a little out of straightaway here. He's going to do it. He's going to have to do it in a hurry. I think he's going to wait. And all of a sudden, Anderson finds himself in third. Don't think he's all that worried about it.
No, I don't think he is either. And, watching that, I think he was lifting off a little bit down that straightaway, just trying to play it safe. We talked about trying to conserve a little bit of fuel. Anderson's led these first two laps. So this may be just a little bit of a strategy here for him. Hold back, save some fuel, be able to take less fuel when you dive into the pits here in a lap or two. Good move.
Let's go to car 452 in 12th position right now. He's in kind of a pinata full of bees. This is Kevin Mills. He just got passed by Edgar Sancinelli. There's a run from Christopher Garros. This is a fun little group. It's a party of three, and it might be a party of four pretty soon as Kai Alstops hopes to get into the festival. Hey, a pit stop.
That's our first pitter. That looks like it is John Torpy and Edgar Sancinelli. Both of them diving into the pits here on lap 2. Estimated we're probably going to run about 5 laps. So good stop as you saw Torpy work his way out. Sancinelli here in for service. Only taking fuel, not going to take tires as these tires are taken off in the old school way, and it takes about 30 seconds to get a full tire pit stop done.
Attrition has been light. Usually, this track claims a lot of victims. Tip of the hat to the drivers. Reese Saunders, Vincent Bream, both have some problems. We're looking at the leaders, Mackenzie Mann and Joseph Cavini. Other than that, they're all still out there. David Burns, your leader right now.
Burns, your leader, Lucal and Anderson following behind him. This sort of trifecta of cars working their way across. You know, Soup, the one thing that's going to be interesting is we've seen in obviously a lot of these shorter tracks is pit stops coming back to bite people. I have to think for these leaders, they're all going to be coming in on this next lap. So the only real distance you're going to be able to see made out through the pits is if somebody makes a mistake.
It's fun here. We get to ride off the back of our leader. Eric Lucal watching him in car number 42. The frosted purple machine of Anderson behind him. Heading up into Defense Valley. Let's see if Burns lives up to the name of the corner there as he does a little defending.
Does a wee little bit. You can see Lucal just kind of thinking every now and again about maybe getting a pass, but Anderson just utterly content here, I think, back in third, just kind of sizing up his competition, figuring out if there's an area he needs to make a pass. But as of right now, just playing the head game, sitting back, waiting. And I think for Anderson, he knows that this race is going to be won and lost down that mega straightaway on the last lap.
We look at that tight battle there. I have faith that Burns, Lucal, and Anderson won't do anything silly as they are all veterans. So we're going to pull you away from this one for something a little less exciting. Let's go to car 21. Get a little love for Jay Beige here, racing in 8th position. He was in a battle with Matt Tempest, but that has broken up. So let's give both of those drivers a little bit of screen time. There is Beige. And let's go ahead and put the cameras now on car number 68, Matt Tempest. They're separated by about 2 seconds as they race in 8th and 9th.
Once again,
go ahead.
I was just going to say, once again, that great roll cam shot that you get, you can see the driver's head working his way back and forth, trying to get every inch they can around those corners. Absolutely so hard to be able to do, to not only get everything memorized, but to be able to execute perfectly around the ring.
Let's go back to the leader again. This is way too close not to be on. They got 3 cars in the length of 2 right now. Burns, Lucal, just a half car length off the gearbox of Burns, and watching closer than I would think he would want to is Lee Anderson. Boy, these guys are racing awfully tough for being up front here. There's a lot on the line.
They really are, but, you know, they're right up each other's gearbox suit, but they're not really taking any dive bombs or passes or anything like that. I think a lot of this is a little bit of gamesmanship. It's that sort of trying to psych out the guy ahead of you, like we've talked about, forcing them to drive in their rear view mirrors. I think, though, as we get into these last couple of laps, as we tick down under 20 minutes to go here in the session and work our way around the carousel, this is going to get a lot feistier up front.
I think if they could watch the broadcast and see what happened when Christopher Crook had a tank slapper right in front of Ludwig Sauer and what happened to Sauer, they may give each other a little more room, but they are confident. And he's David Burns. He's won here before. I think Lucal is quite confident, racing close behind Anderson as well. Boy, it's nice. One of the advantages, DJ, of racing in a regular league like this, you get to know the drivers, you get to know the competition.
Very much so, and you get to know the little quirks and, for lack of a better term, defects of their driving style. You know, maybe somebody's a little bit better through fast sweepers, or somebody's a little bit slower through a hairpin, or things like that. And so that's one of the things that really is nice, is you can sort of start to game out and go, okay, I know he's not going to be as fast through this corner based off of what he normally does, so that's where I'm going to make my move.
Eric Lukl, a veteran of Formula Neagle. Taking a quick look at stats for him. This is his 49th career start, and he is still looking for his first win. Now, DJ, we're supposed to be impartial, but I'll be honest with you. When I see a driver that's been in the series for a long time, has 49 starts, and is looking to get his first win, a little part of me is pulling for Eric Lukl to get the V here, to get the checkered flag today.
I don't think you have to be unimpartial to do that. It's just you want to cheer for the underdog. You want the good story, and that's what we're always looking for. Is whoo-hoo, Lukl gets very sideways there, but able to rein it back in. Anderson right on his gearbox, though.
Indeed, Anderson's got to be a little bit worried that Burns doesn't get away. I don't think we have to worry about that too much, unless you are, I'm going to say, 10 car lengths behind the leader, the guy you're chasing. When you get to that straight, you're going to be in pretty good shape. Here we are again. Let's see how it plays out this time. It's fun to watch him work.
It is indeed, and there, that closing speed once again just coming in. It looks like Anderson's going to be the first to make out the move. Ooh, little bit of a spicy move. They're trying to box in Lukl. They're now going to go 3 wide down that long straightaway. Nobody getting the benefit of the draft. Burns going to duck in behind Lukl there. Anderson looks like he's ahead of Lukl just by maybe a nose, almost a paper separating the two as they work their way under the bridge.
Boy, that is a lot of confidence in the guy you're racing. As you saw Anderson make that move and DJ had it, tried to pin Lukl in behind Burns. Now they are side by side. I don't know if they're going to get this sorted out before they get to the corner. Anderson says, all right, I will back off. We'll let Eric Lukl lead a lap. This may be a case of who wants to lead into pit lane. Let's see. 1, 2, 3.
You called it perfectly, Soup. All 3 drivers diving down into pit lane, and now it's going to be a battle of these pit crews to see if anybody's going to be able to do anything. All 3 drivers, 1, 2, 3. Looks like they all hit. Oh, Burns misses his marks.
That's going to cost him a couple seconds. He might be able to. If I'm Burns, I'm coming out no matter what, and I'll just save fuel the rest of the way. There goes Lukl. Boy, he is out with a big lead. There he goes. Oh, my goodness. And Burns is, and look at that, Anderson is 3rd out.
That's rather bizarre there, Soup. I mean, Anderson never wants to make a mistake. No. I don't know if that's just a thing of more fuel coming in, or if there was a little glitch there or anything like that, but Lukl may be catching himself out to a disadvantage here. If he came out to save fuel, the best way to save fuel around this track is behind the draft. He's not going to have a draft.
Lukl was first in. You would expect him to be first out, but I would have thought him to be out in front of Anderson, who came in second. Certainly not out in front of Burns, who overshot his pit box. I was worried about Burns. And look at the gaps now. Almost 3 seconds between Lukl and Burns. Lukl qualified in 4th. Burns was in 2nd position. They're in intervals about almost a second faster for Burns, so he should be able to run down Lukl if he can afford the fuel.
Exactly. This is where you got to start getting your calculator out and figure out who took fuel, how much it is, and all of that. This could come down to a numbers game in these closing laps.
We're going to bring up a pit comparison. We're going to look at the difference between Lukl and Anderson. Everybody has come in for their stop, so that's as far as they could go. And look at Lukl, almost 4 seconds faster. So our port leader has his work cut out for him.
Yeah, he's going to have to get the charge down here. The one bit of good news for him is if he was that longer in the pits, I have to believe he took on a little bit more fuel. He will be able to go full out the rest of the way, whereas Lucal and Burns may have to save a little bit as Anderson got a little bit wide there.
All right, so we talked about the top three. Let's go back to this other battle that did not break up from the pit stop. We're looking at Torpy with Walker, who has continued to stalk him the entire race. He's still on him.
Walker's still on him and trying to press whatever he can now. Really starting to get aggressive with John Torpy, just kind of poking his nose around, seeing what he can find. Once again, like we've talked about, trying to force Torpy into a mistake and fill his rear view mirrors as much as possible.
It's all going to come down to that final straightaway and when you make the pass and if you can make it without being repassed. How about a tip of the hat to the driver of car number 74? He's all by himself. Racing in fifth, Ricard Allard. Welcome back to the series. He's ahead of Lujan, ahead of Crook. Nice run.
Very nice run, able to avoid that schmozzle that Crook was involved with earlier on. And whew, as I say it, Crook kicking up a little bit of dirt there, it looked like in the shot behind your screen. So this starting to maybe shape up to a little bit of a battle there with Lujan and Crook starting to eye Allard. But we'll have to see what happens here with as we tick under 12 minutes to go.
You can keep an eye on the tower there on screen left. You can see the interval between Lucal, Burns, and Anderson. You're not missing anything. We'll watch it as it continues to shrink a little bit. Look at the gap, though. From Lucal, you see the Torpy's 22 seconds back. The battle we're looking there with Allard, he's 28 seconds back.
It's really incredible just seeing the gap that these top three have been able to pull out. You know, it's a testament to their driving ability. We've seen Burns and Anderson be the class of this field week in and week out. And it's always kind of interesting. There always seems like there is one other driver that gets put up into it. So it'll be very interesting to see if Lucal can hold this out here.
Some good racing going on here. Got it? There we're looking at this battle that is about 23, 24 seconds behind the leader. Maybe, DJ, the best battle is this Walker Torpy battle. I don't know how hard Walker's working right now. I just got a hunch he's happy sitting back there doing a David Burns, just following and settle it on the final straightaway.
I think he might be, and you know, it's one of those sort of racer's instincts you have to fight against. If you see a car in front of you, you're like a dog chasing a car that you have to get it and have to get by it. But I think you're right, Soup. I think Walker may just be holding back a little bit here, and you know, praying that either Torpy's going to make a mistake or that he's going to be able to get that pass made on that long straightaway.
The big news as we watch these battles, what's going on up front. Really not to see right now, but you can see the interval starting to close. Eric Lucal looking for his first career win. Farther back, this is a nice one. This is Kevin Mills being chased by Edgar Sancinelli. Sancinelli looking for sitting in 12th right now.
Both these drivers sitting about 13, 14 seconds back of 10th place Matt Tempest, but good little battle here. You can see Kevin Mills, he is up 3 spots from his initial starting position and just working his way around this track, you know, trying to ignore the fact that Edgar Sancinelli just keeps popping this way and that on him, trying to get anything. Doing a good job through those corners there as Sancinelli's over-aggressiveness cost him a couple of tenths, but he'll be able to claw that back. It's just this whole track driving it like this, Soup. It's a give and take. It's a back and forth you've got to do. You've got to know when to compromise and know when to attack.
Indeed. Sancinelli, a fan favorite, been racing in Formula Neagle for many a season. Round number 4 here. Absolute Beginner League Formula Neagle Season 22. Eric Lukel's gap, you can see it on the tower, beginning to shrink a little bit. David Burns. Kind of like watching the election returns come in here as the late votes get counted for David Burns. He continues to close the gap on Eric Lukel.
Soup, I had the exact same thoughts. As we're going to jump back up here as the leaders are working their way down that long straightaway, you can see that gap start to close. About 1.7 and 1.3 between Lukel and Burns and Anderson respectively. No driver really able to take advantage of the draft there. But I think from what we saw over the course of that last lap, we're going to cross the flag here, I believe, to get the white flag. And Burns able to claw in a little bit. And if you look behind there, Anderson really starting to claw in on Burns.
Indeed, they crossed the line with just a tick over 7 minutes, so I believe this is the white flag lap. And with apologies to the battles we were watching for this final lap, we're going to focus a lot of the attention up front. Let's go back and check in the guys here. The one battle that is interesting, which I don't think anything's going to change unless somebody makes a mistake, is Torpy and Walker. Walker has been chasing Torpy the entire race. And maybe chasing, DJ, is the wrong term. Maybe following is the term I should have used.
Yeah, I've been able to ride on board a little bit with Walker, and I definitely think he's got the speed for Torpy. He's just messing with him a little bit. He knows that the best place to get that overtake is on the straight. Doesn't want to push his luck, and most importantly, doesn't want to put his car in front of Torpy's and give Torpy the benefit of that draft.
As we look at that battle, you can see the tower. There's nothing really to watch. Eric Lukel continues to stay out in front. You know, the worst thing that might happen to Lukel is now Anderson and Burns have got together. They might be able to work together and leapfrog their way up to the German driver.
They very well might, but they're going to have to do it over that roughly multiple kilometers straight if they're going to get the full advantage. But Anderson really, really putting in a stellar first half of this final lap, able to get that gap down to about 0.5 of a second, starting to bear down on David third-degree Burns. He's going to really start to press his advantage. You can see him, as they both get super sideways through that corner, working their way around the track. Anderson really starting to go for it here.
And then, DJ, not only we want to talk about the win, but we also have to talk big picture right now. And even if Burns doesn't get the win, it's a victory if he can finish ahead of Anderson.
Exactly. Burns is one of the more heady drivers in this series, and so he is most certainly thinking about championship points here. If he can get ahead of Anderson, that sort of stops the bleeding for the minute, and as we move on, he'll be able to make the push.
Best case scenario for Burns would be to get the win and then have Lukel as a cushion between him and Anderson, but that may be pushing his luck right now. He'll be lucky just to stay ahead of that frosted purple machine of Lee Anderson. Great racing going on up front. And a tip of the hat to Eric Lukel. The gap is now under a second. They're a-coming, Eric.
Oh, they're coming for him hard, and Anderson really, really starting to seesaw at that wheel a little bit, put everything he's got behind it. That gap now down to about under 1 second there. You can see on the tower, this is really starting to tighten up here in these last stages, Sue.
They are about halfway through this long lap. Heading up to through mountain work here. They're going to be coming around. This is a relatively sharp right-hand corner. And now I safely to say that Burns is there. heading through Little Valley.
And there you saw on your screen, Luca got a little bit wide on the exit of that corner. I think he may have bottomed out slightly. A couple of sparks coming from the bottom of the car. That's going to pull everybody up right back to where we were before pit stops. Throw a blanket over these top three, Soup.
Sister Mary Catherine and her friends are watching from the convent as they head through Convent Valley right alongside. Burns is alongside of Luca right now. Boy, they are close. They race in a triangle formation. Now Anderson tucks back in behind Luca. Anderson will get the best, and Burns falls back to third. It didn't work out for David.
That was an amazing move there from Lee Anderson, recognizing sort of at the last minute, oh, wait, this is a left-hander coming up, and diving down to the inside to be able to get the move around Burns. Now he's going to set his sights on Eric Luca, gets a better exit there off the corner. He may have a bit of a run here as they head into the carousel, but he's going to fall back and wait. I think all three drivers knowing what's coming on the straightaway.
It is exciting, but it's all kind of pointless right now, as it's all going to happen on the long straight, and it may happen 2 or 3 times. Eric Luca will be out front. I would not be surprised to see Eric Luca lead for most of the straightaway and then get taken at the very end. We'll see how it plays out. It won't be long. They head through Hedwig's Heights right now. Anderson, Carroll almost getting it off in the grass, but don't worry. He only has 3 off tracks all season. He knows how to push the envelope.
He does, but that may have opened the door up just a hair to David Burns. But as you said, Soup, none of that really super matters, as once they get down into the straightaway, it's going to all flow away. But you've got to be able to stay up on the tail. You see Eric Luca there getting more than a little bit sideways. I think all three drivers knowing the press that they've got to put on right now.
You got to feel that Eric Luca's probably feeling the pressure a little bit more, looking to get his first win. It would mean a lot to him. Anderson stalking from behind, Burns watching. The Torpy and Walker battle, that continues to rage on, just the way it has been with Walker watching. Nothing going on.
Oh, and there Luke wide.
Oh, Anderson taking a peek. We will stay on the leaders. We will jump back to Torpy and Walker as they cross the line. Not sure if we're going to be able to get to see the pass made, as we will follow these guys all the way to the end now.
I think
look at Burns back to 3. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, Luca really feeling that pressure there from Anderson. You saw a couple of mistakes through those last few corners. Burns also right there behind, poking his nose. They're working their way up towards the final, the small carousel. It's almost draft time, Soup.
Yep, 2 more corners. We'll go through the carousel here, the little carousel. Then the right-hander, that is Gallo Hill. Then everything will be decided on the straights. There will not be enough time to get anything decided after they get to the twisty section before the finish line, I think. Here we go. Everybody full on the throttle, and now it's a game of chess. Burns sits 3 car lengths back. Anderson makes his move clearly too early. That won't last. Oh, look at that, DJ. Luca thought he tucked back in behind Anderson, but there wasn't enough room, so he's kind of left out right now. Look at the run from Burns, and now Luca's going to go behind Burns.
Burns able to get the great double draft there to great effect, but now Anderson's going to be able to fight back. Luca, though, in the catbird seat, he's going to get slightly pinned in, but goes out to make it 3 wide. Doesn't get a whole lot of tire scrub. He's going to make it full 3 wide as they're going to charge down under the bridge. Luca starts to pull ahead a little bit. Burns drops behind.
Anderson in the preferred positions as they get to the corner. Luca could not finish the pass. Anderson fighting position. I think Burns is out of it. Look as they fight 2 wide. They're going to go into the... Look at Luca really struggling. Burns is not in the mix. Anderson gets the position. He gets the corner right. He gets corner left, corner right. Coming across the line, getting the win. It's Anderson. Luca will get second. Burns will get third. Back to Torpy. Side by side. Torpy now trying to fight back after Walker made the pass. Now Walker fighting back on the inside in the red and white GSRC car. They are side by side. Momentum for Torpy. I think when it's all said and done, it looks like John's going to be able to hold on to the spot. They work through the twisty section. Is there enough time for Ryan Walker to make a move? This is it. Here comes the start-finish line. Not gonna get there. It's gonna go to Torpy.
And there goes Christopher Crook being able to, or Rickard Allah rather, able to get by. Great result there from them. We jump back in the field. This is Mills and Sancinelli working their way down the straightaway now.
Mills ahead of Sancinelli. Sancinelli in the 57 looking to peek out. He's better do it now. He moves to the inside. He has a little bit momentum, but no, it's not going to happen. I think the 452 of Mills is going to get to the cornering first, and I think he's going to race away with it. It's going to be a top 10 for Mills. Edgar Sancinelli, his best career finish is 8th. That's going to continue to be, as he's going to have to settle for 11th position right now. Looking back through the field, I don't believe there are any other battles to watch as the cars are separated. We're going to quickly, since we got a late start, go to the finishing order right now. It is Lee Anderson ahead of Eric Lukel. David Burns got 3rd. The Torpy-Walker battle goes to Torpy with Walker in 5th. Ricard Allard, Christopher Crook in 7th. Jay Beige, a nice run for him, 19th to 8th, with Matt Tempest 11th to 9th, rounding out your top 10. Kevin Mills. DJ?
In 11th in the conclusion of that battle, we saw Edgar Sancinelli followed by Kai Albstead. Ludwig Sauer able to bring the car home 13th, and Luis Rodrigo Luan in 14th. Alice Wojcik in 15th, followed by Christopher Giros, Neil Smet, Jason Guerrara, the last of your runners on the lead lap. Andre Solender a lap down, and Rob Azenga 3 laps down.
Final stragglers. Reese Saunders, we saw him have trouble in the blackjack position. Vincent Bream, Mackenzie Mann, and Joseph Cavini. All right. That's going to do it for now. We want to have you stick around. We'll have no time for interviews. We want you to stick around and watch the Lotus 79 that's going to happen here in GSRC immediately. Thanks to the Absolute Beginner League, to the companies and equipment that you see on the screen right now, to June Lalonde for the original music. On screen now are some of the upcoming broadcasts, so check those out. Formula Legal returns November 23rd. That's going to be round 5 from Spa. Check us out at Global SimRacing Channel, Twitter, GSR Channel, Global SimRacing Channel on Facebook, and Instagram at GSRC_Graham. You can become a subscriber by hitting the big red button. If you want more information about GSRC, you know what to do. You can also go to the GSRC store, gsrc.store.nv. Finally, on behalf of the entire crew, that'd be DJ John and Dougie, I'd like to thank all of you for watching, as it was indeed 4 in a row for Lee Anderson as he increases his point lead here at the Nürburgring. And now that all the housekeeping's out of the way, it's time for us to have fun storming the castle. So until next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.